In the days after Nicolas Maduro was captured, Western reaction has been confused and contradictory. Venezuelans around the world rejoiced at the ousting of the man who ran their country into the ground and oversaw a 90% poverty rate, while in Sydney, a handful of comfortable urbanites put on a show of support for the brutal dictator. An organizer for the protest admitted she was not Venezuelan and had last visited the country 20 years ago. Meanwhile, commentators wrung their hands over whether the US operation was legal, with little recognition that a dethroned Maduro is a net positive for the world. Many argued that the US had handed China the moral justification it needed to invade Taiwan.
As far as China is concerned, of course, China would say this is a violation of another country's sovereignty.
But in reality, it may have done the opposite. The operation to catch Maduro was seamless, easily evading the Russian S-300 missile system and the Chinese stealth-hunting radars employed by Venezuela. The radars were blinded, and the S-300 system was jammed, turning it into a $2 billion paperweight while helicopters swooped on Maduro's presidential palace. It made a mockery of Russian and Chinese hardware and demonstrated that the US military remains the most advanced in the world. This has likely changed President Xi's risk calculations and even made him question his own missile defenses, which are largely based on the same tech that just failed in Caracas. With Maduro gone, a portion of China's oil supply has also been brought under US control. Beijing is the biggest buyer of Venezuelan crude. Those shipments make up just 4% of its total imports, but they matter more than you might think. As a net energy importer, China is vulnerable to being cut off during a conflict. To compensate, Beijing has spent decades diversifying its supply so that it never relies on any one country or choke point. Venezuela was supposed to be part of that insurance plan, and China deemed it so important that it poured billions of dollars into oil for loans to secure the supply. Having a partner in close proximity to the US was a strategic bonus. Russia and Iran also saw the strategic benefit of having an authoritarian crony on the doorstep of the US. Even North Korea's Kim Jong-un was a friend of Maduro. We should ask ourselves, in the new multipolar world, with democracies grouped on one side and an axis of authoritarian regimes on the other, who would we rather have control of the planet's biggest oil reserves? There's another uncomfortable truth to consider. Although countries are still paying lip service to international norms and laws, they're respecting them less and less. Trump didn't start this shift, but he is accelerating it. We will likely see more grey zone operations as the US steps back from its role as the guarantor of the rules-based order. This isn't meant as a defense of the US president, who has shown a clear disdain for democratic guardrails. Trump refused to accept his 2020 election defeat, and if he tries to cling to power in 2028, he will be reading straight from the playbook of the man he just captured. His memeing of the operation with videos set to AC/DC, and his suggestion shortly afterwards that Greenland might be next on the shopping list, only served to trivialize what was accomplished. It makes for a jarring contrast. The silent professionalism of the special forces who carried out the raid versus the chaotic, anything-goes energy in the White House. Removing Maduro doesn't automatically fix the country, and it could make things worse if mismanaged. But the fact remains that the world, and especially Venezuelans, are better off with Maduro gone.